What is up, guys? Today we are talking about my life-size Vader budget build, and by budget I mean about 1,500 bucks. Vader costumes can get crazy expensive, thousands of dollars. We're going to talk about how I did mine without breaking the bank. There he is, the Dark Lord himself, such an iconic science fiction villain. Now, my costume, for some cost savings right out of the gate, I started with a Rubies Supreme costume, which I know it gets a lot of hate, but it really did make it for a good base if you're willing to make some adjustments and swap outs and modifications. The first thing I swapped was that helmet. This is an EFX helmet. The original Rubies helmet is really suspicious. Yes, you can modify it. I was not a fan. That's the first thing I did, was swap out that helmet. Next up was the Mannequin, and I just bought a cheap, like $100 Mannequin on Amazon. I modified it, I cut it and remounted that arm so it could turn a little bit. Most guys will buy a cheap Mannequin or two, and then they'll make something that kind of looks like this, where you bulk it out with bubble wrap and tape, and you give this guy a little bit of meat, right? Vader's kind of a big dude, you have to hulk him out a little bit. This seems a little ghetto, but it really is one of the simplest, longest lasting ways you can beef up that Mannequin without spending a ton of money. Now we're going to take a look at the EFX helmet. This is the PCR injection molded version, and I was a big fan of this helmet. It looked pretty darn good. I got mine for about 300 bucks in the secondhand market. Did some paint and weathering. It came out really sharp. A New Hope featured a pretty beat up Vader costume, and that's definitely what I was going for with this setup. So let's talk about the shoulder and chest armor. Yes, this is the original chest armor, chest and shoulder armor from the Rubies Supreme costume. It's been weathered a little bit. It's been brush painted to be a little bit more accurate to the original film. But it works fine the way I'm displaying it. I didn't see a need to swap it out. The gloves were a different story. Now, these gloves are from Fenix Props, real leather. They're about 180 bucks, I think. They were a huge upgrade, and they were well worth the money to swap out. They add a lot of presence to the New Hope version of this particular character. So the undersuit and the chest box and the belt, those are still Rubies Supreme costume items. I've weathered the chest box a bit and repainted some of those buttons so they look better. The belt got a number of upgrades to look a little bit more like the version from A New Hope. They're not perfect. They're a little undersized. You have to move the chest box to the outside of the costume, but you know what? If you're looking to save a few shekels, they do work. It's passable for now, and it saves you a ton of money. I can see down the line eventually upgrading those. The Cod piece was a different story. The Rubies Supreme Cod piece has issues and a weird Velcro thing. You got to swap it out. I got one from Fenix Props. I think it was like 165 bucks. There are other makers out there who do them for around the same price, maybe a bit more. That's a piece you're going to want to swap out. Now, the lightsaber hilt, I wanted something nicer, so I found an old A New Hope style Force FX lightsaber, removed the blade, weathered it, threw on a little MPP decal just because I love that look, even though it's not 100% accurate. And it makes for a great, heavy, realistic lightsaber to throw on his belt. You can easily pop off and hand around if you're showing the statue to people. The shoes I cheaped out on, I got to be honest. These are like a $24 score from Amazon. The shoes are kind of hidden the way I'm displaying the statue. I didn't go big here. You could get boots if you wanted to. The shin guards are still from the Rubies costume. Now, you're going to want to take your time dressing that costume onto the Mannequin, really getting it dialed in. I know I still have a lot of tweaks I want to make, but you know, when you put all this together, you get a pretty darn good looking statue for about $1,500 all in. It takes some tinkering, it takes some work. I'm going to share some links and info below so you guys can go deeper onto the build that I did and the mods that I made. Vader experts, yes, you will see a few little nagging things poking out, but for the money, I don't know how you would beat a setup like this. Please subscribe and check back for more videos like this soon. Thanks for watching, guys. Later.